Welcome back to Guided Hypixel Skyblock Part 2. If you haven't watched the first video, please go watch that one first, as I'd prefer not to explain the challenge again. This time around, there's more objectives to complete, and I don't want to say them all out loud, so they'll be listed on the screen right around now, and anything I've done already will be crossed out. But before I could do any of that, brewing stands are actually usable again, so I went and got Alchemy 4, finally completing the first tier of the guide. Anyway, I started off by going to the community center, starting a minion slots upgrade, and preparing for later objectives. I placed down a gravel minion, coal minion, and iron minion, so I could upgrade them later to their required levels. I then traveled to the deep caverns and mined enough lapis, redstone, emeralds, and diamonds to craft those respective minions. I then mined redstone for Redstone Collection 4 and crafted all 4 previously mentioned minions. I then went back to the deep caverns and mined emeralds and gold for the Talisman of Coins, and even more emeralds for Emerald Collection 3 and the Magnetic Talisman. Keeping with the theme of emeralds, I took emeralds to Romero in the graveyard, and then traveled to Juliet in the park to complete the third part of that quest and get the mediocre Ring of Love. I then traveled to the oasis in the Mushroom Desert to get sugarcane for the Speed Talisman and sugarcane minion. Traveling to the Spider's Den, I got the Archaeologist's Compass, and I then attempted to beat the Revenant Horror Tier 2. It then spawned with 20,000 health while I was dealing less than 200 a hit. Because of this, I was unable to defeat it. I then went to the deep caverns to mine for Diamond Collection 3, collected from minions to get Feather Collection 4, and then traveled to the park to start doing harp songs. I will take this opportunity now to complain about harp songs. First of all, only one person at a time can use the harp, of which there is only one on the park. You can get a harp for your personal island, but it costs like 600,000 coins. Because only one person can use the harp at a time, it often happened that people clicked on the harp immediately after I've completed the song, and I was no longer able to use it. Despite this, I 100%ed the first song before the harp was stolen from me. I decided then to stop using the harp, get a better axe, and start cutting down jungle trees in the park. This allowed me to craft the jungle minion, and I also crafted a portal to the jungle section of the park, so I no longer had to walk all the way there. I started the next day off by putting chests next to my minions so I could upgrade them later. I claimed the required minion slots upgrade from the community center, and placed down the jungle minion at my island to get the required collection level later. I then participated in the farming contest for carrots, and I got farming skill 12. I then crafted the carrot minion 3 and potato minion 3, and got the zombie ring and the required level of the campfire badge. On day 3, I started by upgrading the cow minion and chicken minion to tier 3. I then crafted the feather talisman but had no space in my accessory bag, so I left it in my inventory. I then decided to go do harp songs again. I 100%ed songs 2 and 3 and got the harp stolen from me yet again. After that, I upgraded the cobblestone minion to tier 4 and traveled to the Spider's Den. There I went into Arachne's burrow and someone summoned Arachne. I barely participated in the boss fight, but the fact that I dealt some damage gave me credit for killing Arachne in the guide. I then attempted to grind for combat 12 at various places, and this eventually led me back to the Spider's Den, where I traveled to the top of the Spider Mound and killed the mini-boss there, the Broodmother. Unbeknownst to me, the Broodmother was the source of one of the talismans I needed, the Spider Talisman. After getting it, I killed spiders for combat 12 and returned home to upgrade my zombie minion to tier 3. I then traveled to the end to mine obsidian for an obsidian minion, which I placed down on my island. I then upgraded my coal minion to tier 3 and went back to doing harp songs. After 50 minutes, I had 100%ed songs 4 through 7, and I had gotten the harp stolen from me again, so I stopped doing harp songs. I upgraded my iron minion to tier 3 and placed down a gold minion as well. I then tried to craft as many minions as I could, getting acacia, birch, cactus, cave spider, and cocoa beans. Next in the list was the creeper minion, but I found it too tedious to kill the invisible creepers in the deep caverns, so I instead opted to build a spawning platform on my island. Starting off day 4, I got coal collection 4 from the minion on my island. Because of this, I did not need to have the coal minion running anymore, so I replaced it with the melon minion. And I'm sure you know by now what time it is: harp songs. After 100%ing songs 8, 9, and 10, I was suddenly teleported to Hypixel Limbo, so I decided to stop. I expanded the creeper spawning platform I had built on my island, and got Obsidian Collection 3 from the Obsidian minion, and I then removed the Obsidian minion so I could replace it with something else later. I then decided to use the experimentation table, which gave me an absurd amount of enchanting experience, getting me to enchanting 17, way more than needed for the challenge. After placing down the nether wart minion on my island, I crafted the dark oak minion, and then it was night, so I killed some more creepers, getting the required gunpowder collection to finally craft the creeper minion. I then did some fishing to get the fishing minion, but gave up after a while to do another farming contest. I then went back to my island to craft the Jerry pet, which in order to get you have to go to Jerry, the villager on your island, say you want to move him, put the item you are given somewhere that's not your inventory, do this 8 times, and then use those 8 move eggs to craft the pet. Your reward for this is the Jerry pet, which gives you 0 benefits and lowers your intelligence. I then traveled to the Mushroom Desert, got Cocoa Beans Collection 2, and crafted the Rabbit minion. I then went back to fishing, crafted the fishing minion, and followed it up with more minions: mushroom, sand. I also got sand collection 4 while gathering sand, sheep, skeleton, spider, slime, and spruce. I started off the final day at the experimentation table, which once again gave me ludicrous amounts of enchanting experience, which leveled up my pet enough to get Taming 12. I also leveled up my melon minion to tier 3, got gold collection 4, and had finally completed 50% of the guide's amateur tier. I then picked up my gold minion, placed down an oak minion and pig minion, and decided that seemed like a good place to end the episode. But there was one more thing I wanted to do. Finally, no more harp songs remained.